Right. All right. I think we're live. Can anybody hear me? Make sure the audio is working. Seems to be. If anybody in chat can hear me, just let me know if the audio is okay. All right. So it looks like it's good. Um, so tonight, what we're gonna do is we're gonna unbox this AnkerMake M5C. Had it for a couple weeks now. Last week we unboxed the Creality Ender 3 V3, the Core XZ machine. So we're gonna do this one tonight. And then I also wanted to talk about this year the Creality K1. I've got some upgrades coming for this. One being the bed. So one of the issues with this printer in particular, and it's also with the K1 Max, from what I've understood, the beds on them are really thin. The aluminum plate is thin, and it's warped. So this one here isn't as bad as some of the ones I've seen, but it's still not great. If you look in Clipper, and you look at the bed mesh, it's significantly warped in one corner, more than I would like. So we have I've got an upgrade for that coming, which is from Gulf Coast. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but we'll take a look at it here. So this is from Gulf Coast Robotics. It's been out of stock forever. I just got a notification a couple days ago that it was back in stock. So what this does is this is a cast aluminum, so like a tooling plate that's like milled dead flat, and it's roughly 1/4 inch thick, or exactly 1/4 inch thick, 6.5 millimeters. So it's significantly thicker and should be dead flat. And it's a direct. It's supposed to be a direct replacement, a drop in. The the 2-pin JST plug for the thermistor, and then the heater wires are just some complaints of it that they don't come crimped with ferrules. I've got ferrules and a crimper, so I'll just crimp ferrules on it to begin with. But other than that, I've heard pretty good things about it, and that should give us a very flat surface on here to improve that bed mesh and have a nice level bed. I haven't had a whole lot of trouble with it. I've been able to get it pretty flat, but it does present some inconsistencies with the first layer when printing, especially if you're swapping nozzles. This does have the Micro Swiss Flowtech hot end in it too. That upgrade, which I highly recommend, the leak-proof nozzle, cold nozzle swaps, it's great. But if you're swapping between different nozzles, or you're using a lot of different filament brands and types, you can have some first layer inconsistencies with this bed. So that's why this Gulf Coast Robotics upgrade should be really nice. The other upgrade that I've wanted to do on this for a while is that because this is an enclosed printer, it's primarily, for my use case, is for abrasive material, carbon fiber, but because it's also enclosed, ASA, ABS, which most people know. Unlike PLA or PETG, if you're printing with that, you really want to filter that material. And the problem with this machine is that on the back here, let me tilt this one up a little bit. So on the back here, this is obviously not stock. It usually comes with the spool holder on the back here. I have since moved it to the side. But on the back, this fan here usually just exhausts everything right out the back. It does not come with a filter. I believe the K1 Max, the bigger version of this, does come with a charcoal filter in the back, but this one doesn't. So a lot of people have done a lot of mods to change that, to add filters and stuff like that. So this here, this black piece here is printed, and it actually holds the carbon blocks that are found in Anycubic and Elegoo filters for like resin printers and stuff. So this uses those exact drop-in replacements or carbon inserts, and they're really nice. They just drop right in. And then what I'm going to be doing is I've developed this duct here, along with, let me find the other piece here. So this here I've been working on. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you've seen. So this was just a test print, but this is TPU. So I designed this ductwork I printed it in TPU actually on the Creality, the Ender 3 V3. So what this will be, and again, I'll be redesigning this because these have to be different lengths. But essentially, this piece here I also designed. So on the back of this printer is this hex pattern. So I designed this part to have a hex pattern for the inlet, right? So this is going to be the exhaust outlet, so air is being blown out here through the filter, and then it is going to duct back into the printer. So this outlet to this inlet, and this sets nicely in there. And I'll probably, you can screw it in, but I'm probably just gonna use some CA glue or some E6000 or something just to keep it in, because I'm never gonna take it off. And this is set up for a 1¼ inch hole saw, and right here is a mold release, or like a mold injection molded little circle, which is dead center. So with a 1¼ inch hole saw, I'll just cut out a little circle here, and then this will set over, and then this will duct back in. So all of the warm air inside. So they say you obviously want to keep all your hot air in. So if you're ducting all that air out, it's going through that filter, which is great, but it's taking all the warm air out inside the printer and exhausting it out. And we don't want to do that. We want to keep the temperatures inside. So this filters the air, but then also ducts it back into the printer. So it'll keep all the hot air inside, but then all the exhaust and the fumes from the ESA inside the machine. So it should be really nice. Super simple, but it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. So that's basically the two that we have, two upgrades for this. The Gulf Coast Robotics upgraded bed, the milled plate, and then the carbon filter, and having it exhaust back into the machine. So pretty excited about that. This is a great little machine. I know, the K1 Max as well. I know some people have had some weird stuff with that, but that should be pretty fun to do. So does anybody in chat, are you guys familiar with the K1s? Do any of you guys have K1s or K1 Maxes? Or been thinking about getting one? I highly recommend them. I know a lot of people, I'm upgrading it too, but like I said, as it sits, you'd be fine with that forever. It prints great. There, like I said, some minor inconsistencies with the first layer, but they're very minor. But I've been very happy with it. The extruder was an issue at first when they first shipped them all out. There was a misdesign in the extruder that they discovered, but they just shipped out new extruders, dropped in real easy, and it's been great ever since. So, all right, so enough about the K1. We will start to unbox this AnkerMake. So this is my second my second AnkerMake printer. I did have the AnkerMake M5, which is like the bigger version with the screen and with the AI camera, which was great. It printed great, but it's quite big. It's quite large for a bed slinger. They're wide and they're heavy. Very nice machines and they printed good, but ultimately, I got rid of it. But this one here is the AnkerMake M5C. Virtually identical, but the C stands for compact. So it's much narrower, much smaller, lighter, easier to move around. The drawbacks behind it are, well, some people believe is the drawbacks. I don't myself. It doesn't come with a screen. So this is fully controlled by the AnkerMake app. I don't have a problem with that. I know a lot of people don't like it, but or don't like having not having screens on the printer. Most of my Clipper printers either don't have screens or have screens, but because of Clipper and the web UI, I don't even use the screens. So I don't have a problem with this not having a screen. It prints, from what I've heard, exactly the same as the M5, which is very good. It's very fast. And then the other thing is that it doesn't have the AI camera. And to be honest, I'm actually happy about that, because my biggest gripe with the M5 was that the AI camera did not work. It was finicky. Even when it worked, there were false positives with it. It was just kind of strange. I think it's probably better now. I've heard people say since, I don't know if they must have done a firmware update, but that seems to have improved. But so again, I think for me, the overall footprint of the printer being more compact, yet still having all the same print qualities of the M5 makes the M5C to me more attractive. So I like that it's smaller, but yet the build volume is the same, right? So you're not getting a smaller bed. If you were getting a smaller bed, then that would kind of be a deal breaker. But and just like anything Anker, Anker has been making batteries and charging devices and everything for years. These things are built very, very good. They're built like tanks. So, I will share my screen on the when we get into setting up. I'll share my screen on my phone just because it is app based. So obviously, there's you guys, anybody who hasn't seen their app will want to see it. It's pretty good. It's not bamboo handy good. But it's good. So directions, Anker has done an amazing job with their directions. They were the same with the M5. Very detailed, pictured, easy to follow. There's not a whole lot of setup on these things. Similar to the Creality, the Ender 3 V3. You basically bolt the two pieces together and you're good. But the one thing that I like about this, and it does the M5 came with it too, is the toolkit with them for them is really, really good. That's pretty awesome. So they all come with a case like that. A lot of stuff like this, you're printing for like bamboo machines or any other machines, you're always printing cases to hold all the tools. They've done it for you. Spool holder. Nuts and bolts. So, or bolts. These are for the uprights to the base of the machine. So just like the M5, the upright gantry and everything is all one separate piece. It's not tied to the machine at all. You don't have like a cable tethering it where you got to pull both pieces out all at once, which is pretty nice. So, and it's solid. Like the build quality on these things are just impeccable. Like this is solid like cast aluminum, and it's just really nice. Even everything in the tool head. So the difference with these is these here covers are plastic, versus the M5 being they were, all these were aluminum. Um, but I actually like that because it helps keep the weight down. I move my printers around a lot, and if you're like me, having to move around like a bulky, heavy printer kind of stinks. So this one is also like the base is plastic, but this top part is all cast aluminum. It's extremely heavy. It's not nearly as heavy as the M5, obviously, because we're compact. But this for what it is, it's actually very similar to the Ender 3 V3. That being all a cast aluminum base. Creality kind of took a page out of Anker's book. Very heavy, very very well built. So we're gonna follow the instructions here as we put it together. So I put one of these together before the M5, but we're gonna follow. So on this here, on the back, there's this plastic panel and little tabs, which you want to pull that off because that's how you're going to get to screw everything in and to connect the motors. So we're there, and then I thought the easiest way to really do it for me was to kind of set this on the edge and then put this. I'm going to set this on the edge of the table, and then we're going to slide this in. And there's two pins on both sides of these, so they guide themselves in pretty well once you kind of get it all lined up. So once you get it lined up, you just slide those guide pins in, and then it goes right in. It's pretty easy. So 2 guide pins on both sides that slide in, and then the bolts go through the bottom. So they have M5x20 these here. And they give you kind of a whole set like that, which is kind of nice. They're not as nice as like a set of wares or anything, but they're nice. So I'm gonna actually kind of light into here because it is a little dark. And one good thing about these two is that they all the bolts come with there's 4 bolts in each upper, but all the bolts have Loctite on them, which is nice. Just a sec here. So is anybody has anybody had a had one of these, or has anybody? I don't know if anybody here was in my stream last week. Has anybody thought about maybe getting one of the Ender 3 V3s? I will say, ever since printing those, or ever since putting that together, I've been printing on that pretty steadily, and the print quality and the speed on it are pretty remarkable. You know, it's this is TPU, which is just inherently difficult to print, but I mean that's when it comes to TPU, that's perfect. That's Primeline 95A shore hardness, and you know it's nicely flexible, but it prints perfect. So I've been. I mean, I knew it was gonna. I had a feeling it was gonna be a decent machine, but I think it's. I think it's even better than what I thought it was gonna be. So we'll get all of these in. I'm not snugging them up yet. I'm gonna get all the. I'm gonna get everything in first. I only got one left up there. Get all the bolts in, and then I'll snug everything up. And then we'll put the cover back on. You gotta don't forget to connect the motors in here. There are 2 motors, and you have to snug those up before you put the cover back on. So it's pretty windy here. I don't know if you guys can hear the wind, but all of a sudden, over the last few hours, it got significantly windy. So if for some odd reason everything like cuts out, it's probably because we lost power or internet, and that's the case. I will see you in the next one. And hopefully the video quality is okay. I'm still learning. I'm still learning Streamlabs. I use Streamlabs OBS, and regular OBS. Like I've gone back and forth, but I'm still kind of learning the whole streaming settings and all that. The bit rates and the resolution. So I don't know if I quite have it dialed in yet. So I am trying. Yeah, I was I thought it was going to. I'm trying a little different settings than last week. Might go back to that. I don't know. I mean, it could be the internet. You know, if you know, the internet here, you know, in the area, something's not right with it, or because of the power outage, or maybe that's what's causing it. I don't know. I don't think I changed a lot on the. I don't think I changed a lot on the stream. Yeah. Oh, George, you're getting the wind too. Yeah, I didn't know if it was just where we are or not, but it like all of a sudden got really windy. So I was kind of nervous that we were actually going to lose power or lose internet. But I don't know. I think it might be more me messing around with the OBS settings. I gotta probably put them back. I think I got a little bit overzealous, and you know, I'm not. I think I might have upped some settings beyond what I probably should have. So, all right. So here they are here. So these are your 2 motors, and then here, if we clip these in, and they're kind of, there's only one way they go in, they're keyed, so, but they're kind of hard to get in, especially, yeah, big old fingers, but they're in that way. And then you've got this plastic cover. Just snaps over. And there we go. So that is the extent of the frame of the machine. So now the only thing really left to do is this side here. So we've got this cable here, which they have you kind of snap down into this. So there's a plug. There's a plug right here that this plugs into. And then, oop, moving the whole desk there. So, and then the other thing here is your spool holder. So the spool holder sits like this, and kind of the spool holder faces the front of the machine. It was kind of weird. I think on the M5 I made a put it on backwards, and then I was like, oh. But there should be another set. Yeah. So these M4x6 screws are for the spool holder. George, did you get a say you got a shipping notification on your A1 bed? That'll be cool. That'd be nice to have back. I think you ran yours for a little while, didn't you? After the recall, but then it kind of. Oh, cool! Friday. It's a really neat machine. I think if they're able to put out like a XL or a plus version of that A1, something that's 300 by 300 or bigger, it'd be pretty huge, especially with the AMS. But yeah, was it the cable that caused it to stop working? Did it didn't short out or anything? Did it? I know a lot of people, the bed just stopped heating. And they think they get in the slicer in Bamboo Studio, you get like a thermal error that. Oh yeah, that's not good. They yeah, it's definitely not good. You won't end up having like thermal runaway or something. You can start a fire. Okay, so we've got the spool holder on. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Spool holder on. Oh, this here. So the PTFE tube. This comes up around, and this little piece here is where the PTFE tube snaps in. And there's a coupler like in this, molded in this, and it has a little retention clip. So you, just like anything else, you pull that out, and then you push the coupler through, and then you just snap that clip back so that it doesn't push in or out. If you don't put the clip in, this can like push all the way this way, and then it gets too tight for the extruder here. So, okay, so that's pretty much it. So it's 4 bolts in the base, hold the uprights. 2 plugs for the 2 motors, for the 2Z motors, and then 4 screws for the holder, the spool holder, and then the PTFE tube, and that's basically it. There's some foam in the bed here that we'll pull out. That all feels okay. The steel sheet, they are double-sided, which is kind of nice, and they're always good. They're plenty thick enough, which is nice. And, it does have the guide, like not guide pins, but like little plastic clips in the back, so it makes it really easy to put the bed back on. The belt tension on it's good. He's, from Anker. My guess is that um, anything from Anker is gonna have good quality control. The one thing I did notice with this, and I can't remember if the M, what was it? Yeah, the M5 came uh, with filament, but this one did not come with any test filament at all. So we're gonna grab some. Let's go with this here. Go with the Solval kind of blue. What is it? Blue PLA. It is steel blue. I actually won this on Solval. So for now, we're just gonna stick that in there. I'm gonna heat it up before we pull it down. But now we have the app. Okay, but I'm gonna plug it in first. So let me grab a power cable here. Okay, it's plugged in. So there's a QR code on the back. And actually, let me see. I think I can share the screen, my phone with you guys, so that you can see the app. Okay, just a sec here. Okay. All right. Can you guys see that? So that's the app, the AnkerMake app. So all we're gonna do is, like I said, there's no screen on this. The only thing, it's got a single button here, play pause button, which in the app you can program that. So we're gonna hit add a printer, and we're gonna hit AnkerMake M5. Sure, we'll give. So we're gonna come over here, and we're gonna allow, and we're gonna come up here. We're gonna make sure it connects. But yeah, this connects over the app with Wi-Fi. Oop. Helps if you turn the printer on first. Turn the printer on first, guys. So it uses Wi-Fi with the app, or it uses Bluetooth. Press the button once. So, okay. So now, give me just a sec here. I'm gonna just type in my Wi-Fi password. Okay. So yeah, so that's that's the app here. Let me make sure we connect to the Wi-Fi, and then I'll go back to streaming the app. Okay, so okay, now we'll go back to the app. So once you enter in your Wi-Fi password, it basically just connects the printer to the Wi-Fi. So you can use it just Bluetooth. So Bluetooth from like your phone to the computer to the printer, or it'll just go over Wi-Fi. So now you can name it. I'm just gonna leave it the same, considering I only have one. So this is where you customize. So um, on the printer here, there's just a single button, a pause play button. And this is where you customize what that does. So by default, a single tap prints the latest file, so the last file that you've put on the thumb drive, and it has a USB port on this side. So you slice a new file, you put it onto the thumb drive, you stick it in the printer, you hit the button once. If you double tap, it'll reprint the last file. Hold for 3 seconds, does like the auto level. I know some people will set that, like you can change it, and some people will set that to homing, which is what I usually like, because sometimes after you run a print, you want to home it again before you send another print, or weird stuff can happen. Um, when the printer is printing, if you hit the button, it'll pause it, which is actually pretty neat on this, because it's this printer is and this printer is, from what I've heard, is easy, and it should be easy to do a manual color swap, because by pausing this here, I believe, and I'll have to test it. I'm not 100% positive, but I believe the um, the uh, the nozzle stays hot. The hot end stays warm, so you can pause it, do a manual swap, and then do a manual color change. So we're updating firmware now. I probably shouldn't have clicked that, but hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it's not like cheaty and take like an hour. But so George, are you? Did you say you were waiting for the big version of either the A1 or like the P1 for your next printer? I thought somebody had. Let me wake that back up. I know some. I know a few of the other guys at the space. Um, I think a couple people got an A1 Mini, but you know everybody's all into the bamboo printers now. Seems like the only thing that I ever see people buy now. Yeah, A1's pretty good. I mean, even at stuff on that. Even at 200, what is it, 256 by 256? I think it's the same size as the P1 and the X1 bedwise. But I mean, that's a pretty good size. You can pretty much print anything on that. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while I'll find like a print that I have to use like the X Max 3 or something bigger on, because it's just too big, or I don't want to split it up into multiple prints. But um, it is nice to have like over 300 like that. The X Max 3 is 330 by 330. I really like that. I find that like the sweet spot for like almost anything that I've ever wanted to print fits on that. I know 350 by 350, like the FCO8 and all the Vorons, those are becoming pretty popular too. All right, so we are up. So again, while it's printing, pause, then continue. Double tap. You can either do But we'll set it for stop printing. If you hold for 3 seconds, see that kind of, so they have three options, like hold for 3 seconds, but under when printer is printing, you only have two options: pause and continue, or stop. So we're just gonna keep it like that. So we're done, and we're not gonna read that. But so basically, this is the app. It's actually really nice. I know a lot of people. Originally, when it first came out, it was a little bit glitchy, and they had some issues with it. Um, but it's pretty responsive too. Like I'll click homing, um, and it just homes. So it's everything from the app to the, because it's like a direct Bluetooth connection. Everything from the app to it is pretty awesome. So we're gonna do auto leveling. Please auto level, yes. I don't know how many points it does. It's quite a few. Well, I'll run through the auto leveling. Here, I'll switch back for now. Go to, no, let's go back here. Look, they're good little printers. I actually like these a lot. I've actually talked with quite a few people with these that they're like quietly a lot of people's favorite printers because they just print so good, um, and they print fast. So if you can get a printer that is capable of up to 500 millimeters per second, obviously you're not hitting that all the time. But if you can find a printer that is easy to use, prints fast, and prints really high quality, then pretty good to stick with it. I think that's why a lot of people like the bamboo printers, because these are pretty similar. I mean, as far as speed and quality, but and then you also have you're kind of dependent on the apps, the Bamboo Handy or the Bamboo Studio or and AnkerMake does have different slicer now. So I think it's based off Prusa slicer now. Don't quote me on that, but let's take a look. Well, that does an auto, yeah. So beta AnkerMake Studio. So it used to be AnkerMake Slicer. Now it's AnkerMake Studio, which I'm pretty sure I thought it was based off of Prusa Slicer, but trying to find that, but I'll have to download it. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I'm fairly certain it's based off Prusa Slicer. Let's see. Back to the app there, just so we know if it's. I don't know if it. Yeah, so it does. It's it does heat. So it's 49 points, and it does heat the bed and the nozzle. I think similar to well, pretty much every machine now. I think there's load sensors for the bed leveling. I'm not sure if they're in the bed though, or if they're in. think they must be in the tool head, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I am probably gonna tear. I didn't with the M5. I just kind of like got it running and used it, printed it. But with this one here, I'm probably gonna tear like the tool head down and kind of go through that. But oh no, let's see. Reconnect. So I'm using this. I'm using this new app that I saw with. Yeah, that one there, and works pretty decent. It's pretty easy, but I think it does take a while for this bed leveling because it does like the center and then it does um, I don't know if it does. I mean, I'm guessing it does some type of input shaping, but um, and then it goes through and does a 49 point. So it's doing the first point now. Oh, so these are the parts for just in case anybody's interested. And I'm actually gonna stream this, but these are all parts, and there's many more. But these are all parts for the Recreator 3D the filament recycler to recycle bottles into PET filament. So those are all the parts there. I've got a Ender 3 that I gotta like disassemble and grab all the parts for that. But once I have everything kind of laid out and know that I'm not missing anything, I'll probably do a stream where we assemble that and maybe test it out. It's pretty neat. I saw today actually on Twitter. Josh from Recreator 3D posted. I can't remember the individual's name, but if you look on Josh's Twitter, it was a guy who was using the Recreator 3D to create a bunch of PET filament, and then was printing like, I mean, not quite life size, but big, tall, like Futurama, the robot from Futurama. I think that's what it's called. I'm not like I don't watch it, but it was like a full robot Futurama, but there were like 6 of them, and all of them and all the parts were printed with recycled PET, and it was pretty impressive because it was a lot. It was like kilograms and kilograms of filament, and the guy did it all from recycled bottles. So not only is it a lot of work to print all that and then to assemble all that, but he had to get all the bottles and recycle everything down into a bunch of PET filament in order to just print it, which is crazy. So much work. But it's pretty neat though if you can, especially if you're someone that like I mean if you like 3D printing but you struggle with purchasing filament, because certain filament can be expensive. You can just find bottles and create your own PET filament, and it prints good from everything I've seen. The that actually the part that holds the like the hot end from the Ender 3 that actually melts the PET and before it spools it. That part I'm printing in I was just gonna print it in ASA, but I'm actually not. I'm gonna print it in PETG because then I'm gonna reprint it in the first PET filament that I make with the Recreator. Just because I've heard that like the glass transition rate and the temperature resistance from that recycled PET filament is a little bit higher than PETG, like a purchased PETG. So I think Josh from Ray Creator, he actually recommends using that created filament to reprint that part. it stands up a little better to the temperature. So that'll probably be the first part off it that I print after making some filament. Pretty cool. Everything I see is like clear. It's either clear filament, like clear PET, obviously from like, you know, Coke bottles and Pepsi bottles and Sprite bottles and all that. But then I've seen a lot of green. But it'd be cool if you could find like blue bottles or something. You know, I guess you. I mean, it's PET is probably similar to like PLA. I know you can dye PLA, so you can take like white PLA and then dye it whatever color. I don't know how it affects printing. You know, I'm sure you would want to dye it after the fact, after printed, but I don't think you'd want to dye it first and then print it. But let's see, what are we at now? We are at 34 of 49 points on the mesh. So we're getting there. I haven't really been paying attention to this, but I think I remember on the info. I think the mesh, yeah, goes like on the Y versus you know, most printers, you know, move along the X back and forth. But I don't think there's any difference either way. But George, you have all the stuff for a recreator, don't you? It'd be nice to have one at the space. Like when I get this one back together, I'll probably just bring it right to the space because I can just recreate anything I want there. And oh, it's all at the space now. Because if we could have one or two of them at the space, that would be kind of nice. Because I mean, if I need any PET filament, I can just make it while I'm there. But then other people can. I'm sure there's people there that would want to make their own. Especially if you can save some money. I'm gonna put my tools away. I'm notoriously bad for not putting my tools away. Is the video and still choppy a little bit, George, or is it better? I'm hoping it was just the weather, but I do see in OBS that it has dropped like a couple frames here and there. Like I said, I'm guessing. I think it's the settings. I'm gonna revert back to my previous settings that seem to work pretty decent. But lesson learned. Don't change with settings that you don't know what they do. I wish you could change that. You can't change the settings like while you're streaming, which makes sense, but this kind of stinks because okay. So I think we're finished with that. So let's see. Auto leveling complete. Okay, let's heat the nozzle up. I think you could turn off that beeping. I remember with the M5 that being annoying, and I think somewhere in the app you can actually disable that. But okay, so that's heating up. So I'll wait till that heats up, and then. But the directions are really good on them. Yeah, the directions still reference AnkerMake Slicer, which I know the beta for the new one is out. So. We'll wait for that to heat up. I think it heats up pretty quick. Yeah, it's already back. So we're going to. I'm going to hold that lever. So that's got kind of a spring-loaded lever here for. And we're going to feed that down through, which was the exact same on the M5. Okay. So I'm going to actually move it up a little bit. Move it up a little bit and just extrude some filament out of it. Make sure we're getting some filament out of the nozzle, and then I will start a print. I know the benchy on this thing is crazy fast. Okay. And we're gonna let's extrude. So it's set to pulling it in. Yep, it's feeding in. So by default, it extrudes 60 millimeters of filament. So you can change that though. You can put in basically any amount you want, but there we go. Looks like they tested it with. I think they tested it with white. Okay, so we're good there. Okay, so let's find a benchy. Right? Print a benchy. So basically, like it's that easy. Like in the app, find the benchy, and you hit print. Print the benchy, and then you select the printer, and then it prints. It didn't say how long that one was going to take, but 16 minutes. So this is a 16-minute benchy. I did not wash the bed or wipe the bed down at all, so we'll see how it goes. It's a really nice printer. I mean, I'm going to keep this one for longer than I had the M5 for. I really liked the M5 as far as the quality of print and just the ease of use. So I'm going to keep this one. This is probably going to be like my. So I think the Ender 3 V3. I think that's going to be my my TPU printer because that thing printed TPU like, I mean, flawlessly. And then this is going to be probably just strictly PLA. I don't know if they have. I don't know if they have. I think you can get. I don't even know what this has for a nozzle in it, but I'm pretty sure you can buy hardened nozzles and stuff. So I don't know how it would do with printing abrasives like carbon fiber and stuff. I've had better luck printing carbon fiber. Like my K1 machine is basically my carbon fiber machine because it has the Microsys Flowtech nozzles in it, and I'm using their CM2, like the hardened nozzles, and it's got a 0.6 millimeter nozzle, and that thing prints carbon fiber filament really good. Okay, so let's see if I can get this in a little closer. If that was, I think it does like a weird purge line on the front where it like. I don't know what it's doing right now. Thought it was doing a purge line, but. It looks like it does some type of auto leveling before every print. It has it set to 230 degrees, which is pretty high for PLA. Especially this PLA. We'll see how well it prints, but it might come out like water, a little too hot. There we go. There goes the purge line. Yeah, it prints fast. It's as fast as I remember it. That's a 16-minute benchy, so we'll see how it looks when it's done. But I have a feeling the quality will be pretty good. Use my flashlight. There's my little flashlight. Flashlight so I can see it. Had a good first layer. From what I could see of it, the tool head on these, like the shroud is a big block, so it kind of makes some things hard to see. Let's see. Let's switch to that view, maybe. camera doesn't autofocus very well. Oh, so if anybody wasn't here last week or watches this video on YouTube later, this is the I Am a Maker mug from right there from Pete at Reprinted 3D. If you go to find him on YouTube or on Twitter, and you can buy his merch, that stuff. They have t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, I think, mugs, different swag, and then all of the proceeds, all the money raised, he doesn't make a penny on it. All the money raised goes to the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation for a good cause. So if anybody is interested, check that out. Reprinted 3D on Twitter. It's easy to find him on Twitter, but I'll post a link to his merch store for that on YouTube with this video, and I'll make a post on Twitter about it too that way. Good mug. I have two actually. There's one here and one at my office. So it's not perfect. It's we'll see how it comes out. I think I'll be interested to see how the prints. This is just like a bench you selected off the AnkerMake app. So I'll be real interested to see how well a model comes out that I've sliced. I never trust the files that come on a printer. Like everybody says, oh, if there's a pre-sliced file, it's going to be pre-sliced perfect for the machine, and that's almost never the case. Like every pre-sliced file that I've ever seen come with a printer, half of them aren't sliced very well, and they don't print great. Like you can take Orca Slicer or Prusa Slicer, even with like a default profile, or create a quick profile yourself. And a lot of times you can beat the quality of the G code that comes on a printer or on an SD card. Yeah, that was one thing I noticed. I didn't see an SD card. I thought the M5 came with an SD card, but or not an SD card, a thumb drive, because they have a USB port in there, but I would have thought it would have had one, but nothing. I thought with the M5 it came right inside the tool case, or at least in like a little bag, but I didn't see one on this one. Yeah, I keep getting messages in OBS of dropped frames, and I don't know if that's because of the settings I changed, or if it's just like the wind here and probably the internet's being affected. But we'll find out. I'll do a test on it before next week's stream. Next week's stream is going to be pretty cool. We got a pretty awesome printer coming in for that one. So I think it's supposed to be here Monday. But that's going to be a fun printer, because I only know of one other person that has got this printer in. And it is an enclosed Core XY printer. And I'm pretty excited. It looks pretty cool. And it's especially because of the money, like the cost of the printer. versus what it could be and what it could be capable of doing. Um, it could be a really good bang for your buck, like enclosed core XY for a lot of people, like way less or a couple $100 less expensive than like the next least expensive core XY enclosed with like all the bells and whistles of like 300 degrees plus on the hot end. You can get the Flash Forge. What is it? The 5M. Yeah, the 5M or the 5M Pro. The like 5M Pro is enclosed, but you can get the unenclosed one for the same price. I think $299 of what this printer is, but this one is enclosed, and you get 300C on the hot end, whereas with the Flash Forge machines you only get 280. So pretty cool. It'll be a fun. It'll be a fun stream next week, and hopefully, because of what it is, drone with a little more interest, so we'll get a little bit chattier in the chat. Get a few more people in. It's tough. I might actually switch from Wednesdays, not streaming on Wednesdays, because there's quite a few other streams happening during this time. So it's tough because you get these streams that have been like established for years and have like thousands and thousands of followers, and then little old me trying to stream. So I might pick a different night. Plus, I also like to watch those streams as well, and I haven't been able to watch them on Wednesday nights with streaming. So we'll see. Maybe I could pick a night that doesn't conflict with any of the ones that I like to watch. I will say it's not great, but the quality is not great. But I don't even know what I picked for a Benchy. It was like the first one I saw on the app, but. I know this machine, as far as the M5 and the M5C, I know these are capable of fast prints at a really high quality. So this one here is a little bit lower quality than I would have liked to have seen, but like first print. You working on any projects, George? Anything fun? I actually haven't been to the space in like a couple weeks. At some point I gotta get back over there. The one thing that I'm finding is like I just looked on the machine to look at the screen to see what time was remaining on it. I'm like, oh, it doesn't have a screen. But so 5 minutes remaining. So if you look on the app, it does give you like all the information. Pretty good app. I like it. Definitely think it's better than when it first came out. But. I know. We gotta start. We gotta figure out the motors on that. I think we're gonna end up having to replace those. I don't think it's gonna be there's an easy way to drive those. So I think replacing those with like a big NEMA 23, like 114 millimeter or something big with a lot of torque. It'll be easier, and I think there'll be a lot more. I think there'll be, even if we could get those other motors running, I don't know if now turning it into an FDM printer, if you would get the accuracy and like in the resolution from those motors as you would switching over to a NEMA. But and I'm not as much worried about the motors on the X, because it's just linear rails and it's only going to be moving the tool head. The one that I'm worried about a little more is the Y, because that big rack up top for the Y is there's a lot of mass there, so that one a lot of mass there, and it's controlled by a single motor. So we may have to get a beefy motor for that, but I'll reach out to LDO Motors or something and see if they can recommend a motor for it. Is that what we're calling it? The Beast? Makes sense. It's kind of fitting. It is big. Oh, video probably chopped a little there. We just got a couple dropped frames. I gotta figure that out. Let's see. Oh, we're at the top now. Not quite at the stack, but we're at the roof. No official name, but yes, it does fit. I'm out of room. I gotta try to find a place to put this printer. Especially with the other one coming in next week. Like, I'm gonna have to sell or trade a couple printers. Clean up some room. Let's see, what do we got left for time? 3 minutes, no, 1 minute and 38 seconds. So it's moving at 150 millimeters a second. Kind of fluctuates between, now it's down to 60 because it's on the stack, but it was moving about 150 millimeters a second, which is pretty good. It was weird. It was sliced to do 230 degrees on the bed for the first layer, and then it dropped down to 200, which is different. So it was stuck down pretty good. Had a good first layer. Focus. Back a little. A good first layer. But it's there's a lot of I don't even know what that is. It's like weird, not salmon skin, but there's like all these vertical lines in it. It probably, I did notice like it seemed to be a hitch in the bed. I don't know if those V rollers, the rollers might have a flat spot. There's a little bit of a hitch in that. Yeah, same with the. So I'll have to go look over this because there's a wicked flat spot. So I think that's probably where all that artifacting came from. There's a wicked flat spot in the V rollers in both the bed right there and in the tool head. The tool head one is actually significant. Like I can't move that at all. It's almost like it's yeah. That's really bad. So I'm gonna have to look that over. It might be like a. It's weird. Well, I have to look at that, but that's definitely not okay. And like I said, I think that's why I'm getting all that artifacting in the sidewalls. Like that's pretty bad. But if I can figure that out, I think it'll print great. But we got to figure out why that's doing it. Like I wish you could actually feel it. Like it almost feels like it almost feels like it drops into like a little pocket, and I actually have to push pretty hard to get it out, and it's like dead center of the gantry. Um, but well, I think we'll end it there. Thanks for joining, and hope you guys like this printer. It's a good printer. I think there's an issue with that, obviously, but maybe it's just something in the belts, or I'll look over the V roller. Maybe it's just a bad V roller, but figure that out, and then I'll run a bunch of test prints and go from there. But pretty solid machine, so and they usually print really good. So I'll get that sorted out, and then I'll post on Twitter some follow-up prints from it once I figure out what's messed up with it, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks guys, and have a good night.